Welcome to another video. So something that is really cool, I was able to work with this amazing company called Kopfjager. If you're watching the videos, I've been kind of testing out this tripod system. They were able to do something really awesome. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. Click on that link. If there's anything that you like from Kopfjager, use coupon code Overwatch 15. I'm gonna get you 15% off of any and every single item they have to offer. So even if you're not necessarily interested in buying something right now, at least check out what they have to offer. They have a bunch of different stuff that's really cool. So they got this is the Kopfjager K700 tripod. So this thing is very nice. It's not their lightest weight one, but for me doing precision shooting, I actually prefer a heavier one. That way it helps with kind of manage the recoil a little bit. But let's kind of look at some of the features and benefits. Now, the bottom of this thing is one thing that's kind of cool. As you can see, it's got multiple angles on these. So when these legs are stretched out, you're actually getting kind of a little bit of a bigger footprint on the ground, and that's going to help with, some traction, actually digging into the ground. As far as the tripod itself goes, you got your two adjustments here, so you can really stretch this out. So for those taller guys that are up in the, over 6 feet, this is definitely going to work for you. Another cool thing about this, now, I do have part of this taken off. So this piece here, if I can get it in camera, this piece right here, half of this I did go ahead and take off, but this extends down, I want to say at least another 6 inches. And with this, I'll tighten this, and you can get a little bit more elevation to really fine tune where you want it to be, so you can get a perfect fit. So that is really nice, really cool thing. Most of the time, I'm just going to run this all the way down. So we can get this pretty low, so you can almost get into the prone with this. So we can get this thing nice and low, but in its second to lowest setting. Now this is the one I tend to use more often. So this allows me to get into like a seated position, and then really get on the rifle. So this is where I'm going to use it most often. And then if you want to get into a standing position, obviously you can do that. You're just going to stretch the legs out to where they need to be. So there's quite a bit of adjustment on this. I really do like this thing a lot. This has so far been my my favorite tripod. The other thing that's really cool is the knobs are very low profile. So that's it. Nothing to get your fingers pinched on, nothing getting bumped around by accident. So very nice there. That's the Kopfjager K700. Use coupon code Overwatch 15 for 15% off. Now let's talk about the head of this. Now the head of this is where all of your benefits, especially when it comes to long range shooting, come into play. So I am going to drop this down on its a little bit lower setting, and then let's take a look at it this way. I guess it doesn't help I'm in a black shirt. So your gun is going to rest up here. I'm going to grab my gun in a second and throw it up here. But as you can see, this is your swivel point over here. And then this is where your gun is held. So it's actually putting it off to the side. So here's a huge thing that this solves. And one is the magazine. So the magazine is not bumping on any of this stuff. It's nowhere near it. So if you're running like a 20, a 30, 40, even 50, a drum, it is not going to get in the way of anything. So that works out perfect. The other thing that it does, because we have our tensioner right here, it allows you, when your magazine is here, it allows you to actually have this type of tensioner on it. So if you need a little bit of tension or a lot of tension, you can do that. And then for the, let's say the left-handed shooters, it gives you a place to kind of grab here. And then same thing for the right-handed shooter. You can kind of get on here, grab this thing here and move it and get you a little bit of stability. You can put maybe a little bit of downward pressure on here while you're pulling back on the rifle and get a really nice solid platform. Let me get my gun strapped up on here so we can take a look at that. Just so you can see kind of the weight this thing. This is I'll just call this a BFG, if you'll figure that one out. It's pretty heavy. Hopefully this, I can get this on video pretty decently. So as we can see, we got the magazine here and it is offset. So again, we can do our left hand up here, or if you want to pull it in back here, it definitely gives us some options. This part here is curved. So like on your chassis, on your ARs, it really grips onto there very nice. It has a very thick, heavy duty, like rubber texturized material. So you can really like crank on this thing and man, it does really, really well. I would prefer maybe like a secondary type of lever. That way you can get it, you know, fairly tight with this and then really crank down on it. But we'll see how that comes about. Really not too big a deal with this, but it's in there nice and tight. And you can see it swivels very smoothly. And you can actually adjust the tension on here. So if you want it a little bit less, it's still smooth, but it gives you a little bit of tension on there. And then you can do it to where it's just really, you know, kind of free. You can undo the tension on this, and this thing is very, very nice. It is also offset. If you can see here, it has a plate. Let me actually get the gun off of here. So here is the head. Very, very nice. So here you can actually mount, there's a plate that goes on here, and that's really cool because it has a mount on there, so you can actually mount your spotting scope right here. And then if your shooter, your spotter, whatever, y'all can take turns on this. You can also have where you just have the plate on here, and then you have different accessories to mount the different scopes. You can mount binoculars, you can mount your cameras. So you can, it has different mounts, so you can mount all kind of different stuff on here. So very, very nice. And then you can see how thick, heavy duty that rubber material is. And then again, this swivels to get the right kind of pitch that you need. And then you can see that slight curve in there, so it can really grip your rifle. All right, so I don't have the best lighting in here, but we can see how that's offset. It keeps our magazine out of the way, so we can run as long of a magazine we want, and nothing is getting bound or bind up. So very, very nice, well thought out system. And it has definitely become my favorite. So, all right, so that is the Kopfjager K700. Definitely, if you're looking for something, I'm gonna leave the link below. Check out. Even if you're not necessarily interested, just check out what they have to offer. You may find some things. They also have a bunch of different accessories. I'll show that up in an upcoming video. And go to the link. Use coupon code Overwatch15 for 15% off of your entire order. And I hope you guys find something really cool with them. And they really do make some really nice stuff. So definitely check them out. And stay tuned for more products from Kopfjger. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned.